Hello my friends, this is Jose from LUOVITA, and today I'm going to talk about how to introduce changes in your relationships. So the simple act, for example, of introducing a new habit or practice or idea into your relationship can sometimes strengthen your bond and be the first step in figuring out how to introduce these changes. So I know that, for example, long-term relationship can be quite resistant to change. And it's easy to fall into some routines and habits. But if you introduce some small changes into your relationship, it can make really stronger in the long run. And we are going to some ways to do this. The first is to embrace the change. And to embrace change in relationships, that means it's a challenge. It's natural to feel, for example, uncomfortable during a change, but it's important to acknowledge that these feelings will pass and to focus on what you can really control instead. Visualizing, for example, how your life will be like after a change helps you surely into this change. That means you want to try, for example, meditation to calm your emotions before embracing this change. Practicing this mindfulness, this will help you embrace change and help you avoid this negative thoughts. So trying to figure out why a change is necessary in your relationship can make it easier to accept. For example, if your spouse is avoiding you because you feel uncomfortable with some change, try looking for the cause of this change. Observing some patterns in conflict can help you see a different way, for example, to handle a situation. So embracing a change can help you build stronger and more loving relationships. We are going to some tips on how to embrace this change. Embracing change can be a good way to strengthen, for example, your marriage. And when you and your partner handle a change together, you can create a bond without conflict and to overcome obstacles. You also acknowledge that your spouse, for example, is a dynamic personality and that it's okay for a change. This approach will help you avoid getting stuck in some routine that's preventing you from moving forward. Also, you must practice self-compassion. This can make a big difference in the quality of your relationships. Self-compassion is, for example, a good way to be more mindful, more kind and less judgmental toward yourself and to others. You may even be able to change some ways how you talk to others. In addition, for example, it allows you to make some more intentional choices. What are the benefits of practicing this self-compassion? The most important benefit is really the ability to recognize when you have gone out of course, for example. Self-compassion does not mean you have to tell yourself how great you are. However, you do need to encourage yourself in a kind way. That means it will make life a lot easier. You can start, for example, with your relationships by introducing self-compassion in yourself. So another way to improve your self-compassion is to label your emotional states. That means writing down what you are feeling, and this will help you to build some vocabulary of what you are feeling. You can also make a list of your needs and feelings. And by keeping, for example, this list of needs and these feelings or emotions, you are able to better understand how others experience the world and how you experience the world. You will have a better chance of addressing your needs and the needs of others. So compassion is the most powerful tool you can use to change your relationships. With compassion is also empathy. That means you will be able to face these difficulties, situations in life with less resistance. And also, compassionate friends will listen to your distress and work with you some kind of plan of action if you're in a bad situation. You will learn, when you learn, for example, that you accept what is compassion, you'll be able to be more compassionate to yourself and to others. if you're not just a natural born compassionate person, it will take a little bit longer, and nobody is really born with this, but recognize your role in this pattern, So it means in order to do changes in relationship and prevent this cycle from continuing, you must recognize that you are part of this pattern. And for example, to do this, you need to make a conscious effort to create a culture of acceptance and affirmation. So it's important to not, for example, to criticize others and become defensive. So focus on affirming each other and try to avoid criticizing or responding in defensive ways. Communicate with your partner. And this goal of communication is to understand your partner. Listening and responding with empathy are really important parts in this process. If you find it difficult, for example, to initiate some kind of conversation, consider seeking help, even if it's someone outside, or you might find that there are other ways to communicate. So, what are, for example, ways to improve your communication skills? First, you could write down points that you wish to discuss. Then choose the time when you two, for example, are likely together. Once you selected a time, simply tell your partner that you like to discuss these points. Once you're prepared, listen carefully to the response. If you are not sure how to start the conversation, practice opening up and until you made a natural part of the relationship. So the next step is, for example, determine the reason for these changes. Your partner, for example, may feel uncomfortable with these changes. So if they're triggered by fear or financial hardship, for example, you may need to consider counseling. So it's really important to realize that some changes aren't so big. They may be simple habits and not real changes. So identifying what worries your partner might have and can help you to communicate your concerns. Also, this good communication is essential for healthy relationship. It builds trust, empathy between two people. If your partner, for example, feels appreciated and valued in your relationship, you are both more satisfied, This is because happy people are more likely to communicate effectively. So a good communication is a process that allows both partners to express their needs and their feelings. You can't just read your partner's mind, of course, so make sure to communicate honestly. What you can also practice is this perspective taking. It's a skill to make your relationship better. That makes a great difference. For example, you will be able to get better results and understand the point of view. That's like a role-playing technique that helps you gain better understanding of their perspective. This way you will be able to find or to better explain your reasons also and disbelieve what you do. So this perspective taking does not follow a fixed time, This is because it does not allow a single mechanical structure. This process is supported by several core mechanisms, for example, quick and strategic interferential ones. Some of these processes are automatic while others are really controlled. When you practice, for example, this perspective taking to introduce changes in your relationships, you will become more effective at your work. So this can make really a big change in your relationship, We are depending to be aware of another person's state of mind. We all are facing many situations that require this awareness. You must, for example, when you're on the streets, you must be aware of your surroundings so you can minimize the risk of something happening, So this is, if you introduce this perspective taking, this role playing in your life, it will change really these relationships, And you can resume this like an empathy. Empathy is developing this greater awareness of your partners and somebody else's, to improve the communications. So The ability, for example, to take someone else's perspective can help you better predict, for example, their behavior and make better decisions in your relationships. For this reason, practice this empathy, introduce changes in your relationships, and improve your quality of life. There are really so many benefits, And if you need help, in the descriptions below, I have a lot of links, resources that I did research on that I also used. And let me know in the comments. These videos that I make are really there to help. So let me know what did help you. What are you thinking about? What can we discuss? Check out the resources. You can share also. You can listen also to this. And a big thank you that you are there, that you're taking your time to improve your life also, and that we are both in this together. Be great. Until next time, take care.